Happy Monday, Saints fans. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend and hope you guys are well rested and ready to tackle this week. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the latest buzz around Saints running back Alvin Kamara, as ESPN's Jeremy Fowler and Pro Football Network both recently mentioned him in some articles. So we're going to go through what they said. I'm going to give you my reaction, and we're going to have a lot of fun in today's show. But before we dive into that, guys, we are so damn close. And if you're a diehard Saints fan, and this number right here makes you laugh like a baby, like a kid at a comedy show, I don't care. I need you to subscribe. We're 60 subs away from getting to 28.3 thousand subscribers on the channel. So if you want to help us out, and if you want to get daily Saints coverage, lock us in today. So not ranked in ESPN's top 10 running back discussion by Jeremy Fowler, Alvin Kamara right here. And last year, the production, it was a little bit underwhelming. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in what the player was able to do. However, I don't necessarily place all of the blame on the player. Similar to why I don't place all of the blame on Derek Carr. I don't place all of the blame on Dennis Allen. I don't place all of the blame on Pete Carmichael. It's a full circle. It's a full team. The team did not win a lot of games. The team won more than they lost, but it was a team failure overall for the reason why we didn't get as much offensive success as we wanted. So in ESPN's top 10 running backs, and just real quick, I'm not saying Dennis Allen is to blame for the offensive failures, but you know what I mean. ESPN's top 10 running backs right here, though. Christian McCaffrey, number 1, no surprises there. Breece Hall, Nick Chubb at number 3, coming off of injury, which is pretty interesting. Saquon Barkley with the new team, but staying in the division. Jonathan Taylor with the Colts. Bijan Robinson, that's where the only player in the NFC South ranks, at number 6. Josh Jacobs, who's now with the Green Bay Packers, formerly the Las Vegas Raiders. Jahmyr Gibbs with the Detroit Lions. I really like that player a lot. Derrick Henry, the king, is still a top 10 running back according to ESPN, and Travis Etitenne Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars rounds out the top 10, and we're going to go through the honorable mentions here in a moment, but I got to show what Jeremy Fowler had to say about Kamara, because I don't think it's actually like a knock on him. I think it's actually pretty aware of what the situation was as a whole. Kamara has been a fixture in the top 10 ranking, or in the top 10 ranking as high as number 2 overall back in 2021, but his production has been less efficient in recent years. He has averaged 3.87 yards per carry since 2021, which is good enough for 830 yards per season. Now, Alvin Kamara, there is no mystery. He was not a top 10 running back last year. And the production in terms of on the ground was down. The production in the air was a little bit down. But just because he wasn't amazing last year doesn't mean that he still can't be great. And that doesn't mean that he can't be a top 10 running back again. In 2023, I totally agree with Jeremy Fowler for the record. Alvin Kamara was not a top 10 running back. But again, he's not the sole person to blame on this situation. So I do think that with the new system and with what the offense is going to be starting to look like, I think Alvin Kamara can find a lot more success. And Jeremy Fowler shares that same belief. He might have hit a wall a little bit, an NFL running backs coach said. I disagree there. He did not hit a wall. He had no wall because he had no offensive line. So, that kind of makes things a little difficult. He's still a great all-purpose back and can run all the different schemes, has burst and contact, but the production hasn't been there. Though I think Klint Kubiak's system will be a really good fit for him. And why I think Alvin Kamara will improve, I think Fowler kind of hit the nail on the head, especially with the Klint Kubiak system. Like that, without fail, is going to lead to better production from AK-41. I still believe he's a great athlete. You can go back and look at the clips from minicamp and OTAs, and he's still, not all of the OTAs, but you can look back at clips at minicamp, and he still is running with a lot of speed. He's smooth. He is dynamic. He is still a great football player and a great athlete just in general. And he's a very smart player. And I think that alone is something that we don't necessarily give him enough credit for. In between the helmet and in between the ears, the guy is a genius. He has a very smart football IQ. And on top of that, he knows how to use his strengths and play to his strengths. And he knows how to create more opportunities for himself, understanding that he is a little bit older, but he still knows how to be a dynamic football player. And there's a big question mark with the offensive line because that was a big problem for the Saints last year. And if Alvin Kamara cannot get a better blocking front in front of him, Doesn't matter if it's Kamara, doesn't matter if it's Kendre Miller, doesn't matter if it's Jamal Williams, doesn't matter if it's Christian McCaffrey. You're not going to have great running back production. So Klint Kubiak actually spoke about how excited he was to work with Alvin Kamara a couple months ago, saying, I think that it will be really, really fun to work with Alvin. He's got a great skill set that we can do a lot of things with. So it's just up to us as coaches at identifying those things and him putting in the work. And there's no doubt that Alvin Kamara is going to put in the work. Kubiak continued to say he's been in my office multiple times, talking football, getting some one-on-one time with him to teach the offense, getting to know him a little bit. He's a very bright player. I'm just now figuring out how bright he really is. It'll be fun to load up his plate. And if you didn't know this, in Alvin Kamara's career, sure, he's never had an 1,000-yard rushing season, but he's never had less than 1,000 all-purpose yards. And I think that alone is still pretty valuable. I mean, when you can guarantee 1,000 yards from one player, you're telling me you don't like that? I mean, come on. I think that we all can understand and we can all agree that Alvin Kamara has been a productive player throughout his entire career. And you don't need him to be an 1,000-yard rusher. You don't need him to rush for 10, 15 touchdowns. You don't need him to take over on the ground game. You can let him take over as a receiving back. You can let him take over on the ground. You can do so many different things with him. And I really appreciate Klint Kubiak for understanding that and realizing how special this player really is. So, like I said, here's the other honorable mention running backs that Jeremy Fowler mentioned. Again, Alvin Kamara was an honorable mention, but so was Aaron Jones, who was with the Green Bay Packers, now with the Minnesota Vikings, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Pacheco, James Cook, Joe Mixon, who is now with the Houston Texans, and DeAndre Swift, who is also on a new team in the Chicago Bears. So Alvin Kamara being in this category right here in this group, I think that he should be a little bit higher, but I mean, honestly, again, he wasn't a top 10 running back last year. So I want you to get down in the comments section. What was Alvin Kamara's rank? What is his running back rank across the National Football League? I want you to share your thoughts. If you think he's a top 10 player, get in the comment section and share your thoughts and get loud. If you think that he was bad and he doesn't deserve to be in the conversation of a top 10 player, I want you to share your thoughts as well. We may disagree, but that's what it's all about. We're Chat Sports. We want to chat it up with you. So if you also want to support Alvin Kamara and you're in the same belief as me that Alvin Kamara is going to be around for the New Orleans Saints for the foreseeable future, go to chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. You can get yourself a new jersey. It's Nike. It comes from Fanatics. It's nice, high-quality stuff. But if you use our link, it just lets them know that we sent you, and it helps support the show. So go get yourself some new gear ahead of the season. Chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. It's in the comment section and description of this video. And if you order it today, I promise it'll be here before week 1. So let's talk about a trade candidate, because Pro Football Network, they listed for every single team the top trade candidate for every roster. In New Orleans, they said it was Alvin Kamara, not Marshawn Lattimore, which is actually pretty interesting. So let's kick it over to PFN. The New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara is reportedly in search of a massive contract extension despite his declining play. Kamara will turn 29 on July 25th, and it's hard to envision the Saints signing him to a new deal. And then he continued to say, New Orleans could opt to move on from their long-term starter and embrace the duo of Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller. And I'm going to just keep it real with you guys. I disagree there. I don't think that Alvin Kamara is seeking a massive contract. That's not true at all. I think that this contract situation, and that's why I'm putting massive quotes around it, because I don't think it's a huge situation. I think this is just more of an inconvenience and a little bit of a, hey, Alvin Kamara, we like you, we value you, want to be around. Let's kind of see where we can meet in the middle here. It should not worry you. Alvin Kamara wants to be a Saint for life. He has expressed it dating back to 2023, and we'll show you what he had to say then. This was after Cam Jordan signed his contract that would make him a Saint for life. I want a lifetime contract. I want to be here forever. I think y'all, being the media, need to put some pressure on Mickey Loomis, how y'all did for Cam when he said that. And this is a super easy situation to resolve. This doesn't at all have to end in a trade. This doesn't have to end in a messy, disgusting ending. This is a very simple fix. One, you give Alvin Kamara guaranteed money after the 2024 season, because this year he's guaranteed $1 million. After that, nothing. He has no guaranteed money after this season. He has void years in 2026 and from 2026 through 2028. So I think if you just extend the length of his contract to allow him to retire as a Saint, that is all he really needs, or not really wants more so than anything. I'm not saying I know that because I'm talking to the guy, but I'm just a firm believer. He wants to be in New Orleans. He likes playing with the Saints. He likes the city. He loves playing at the Dome. He just wants guaranteed money, and he wants to retire in New Orleans Saints, and he wants the security of the guaranteed money over the next couple of seasons. And here's the deal. If you do restructure Alvin Kamara, you could get up to $8 million in cap space available to spend this season. So I think that alone is a really, really good move to just restructure, extend, whatever you want to call it. Just give Alvin Kamara the extra couple of years, the guaranteed money, and we can all run off into the sunset and he can retire a New Orleans Saint. The Saints will not trade Alvin Kamara. Let me say that one more time for those of you in the back. The Saints will not trade Alvin Kamara. So anybody out there that's worried about what you see on the internet, that's worried about what your friend at the lunch table is saying, do not panic. Alvin Kamara will be repping the black and gold this season. He wants to be a Saint for life. He has expressed it multiple times, dating back to the 2023 season. And on top of that, he is a player that this offense just absolutely has to run through. Klint Kubiak's system will work with Alvin Kamara, and it would be an absolutely terrible decision to move on from him this season. So I want you to be the GM for me. Would you trade for, would you trade, not would you trade for, would you trade Alvin Kamara? I wouldn't. I don't think Mickey Loomis would, but what would you? What would you do? It's your turn to be the GM and share your thoughts in the comments section. So really quick before we hop on out of here, personal news, nothing too major, nothing too crazy, but I mentioned it a couple times on our live shows. I'm going to be actually leaving for a family vacation. I'm going to be out of town Thursday through Tuesday, so I'm going to have videos for you guys almost every single day. I'm trying to get videos every day for you while I'm out of town, so a lot of opinion pieces, a lot of fun stuff coming up. I encourage you to join us Wednesday for our live show at 3 p.m. Central Time is what we described. Around 3 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to subscribe and join us because we're going to have a lot of fun that day, go through a ton of content, and on top of that, you'll get daily videos. And I'm going to be on vacation with my family, my girlfriend, and a lot of other awesome people. So thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Coverage coming at you tomorrow and the rest of forever because I love my job. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.